Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome back to the Lovely Podcast. It's Leah here, and today we're diving into last night's gritty showdown between Como and Juventus, a match that left us with a 2-1 victory, but not without plenty of head-scratching moments. Sure, we walked away with the 3 points, but was it the kind of performance we can be proud of? Well, let's just say it was far from a classic Juve display. We'll break down what went wrong, what went right, and whether this kind of effort will be enough as we move forward this season. So grab a coffee or something stronger, and let's get into it. Hey there, lovely listeners. Welcome back to another episode of the Lovely Podcast. Today's episode is a bit different because, as some of you already know, football, especially Juventus, has a special place in my heart. It's a love that started with my dad back in Stockholm, where we'd watch matches together, cheering, screaming, and sometimes sighing in frustration. And sighing, my friends, is exactly what I found myself doing during our latest match. If you watched Juventus play the other day, you know what I'm talking about. It was a match we somehow scraped 3 points from, but let's be honest, we didn't deserve them. Not even close. So let's dive into what went wrong, why it's so disappointing to see a team like Juventus struggle this much, and what it means moving forward. All right, let's set the scene. Juventus came into this match knowing how crucial these 3 points were. The expectations were high. We're talking about one of the most storied clubs in football history, with a legacy that demands excellence. But what we got on the pitch? Yikes. First off, the energy was flat. Like, where was the urgency? The first 20 minutes felt like the team was sleepwalking. Passes were sloppy, movement off the ball was non-existent, and there was no real cohesion. You know, the kind of performance that makes you wonder if the players even had breakfast that day. The midfield? Oh, don't get me started on the midfield. It felt like we were constantly losing control, getting bullied off the ball, and let's face it, our transition game was painfully slow. Watching it, I kept thinking, this is Juventus. This is our midfield. Where's the spark, the creativity, the drive? And then there's the defence. Let's be real. Our backline didn't exactly inspire confidence. There were moments where I was practically holding my breath, hoping we wouldn't concede a goal out of sheer sloppiness. And don't even get me started on the attack. It felt like every time we moved forward, there was no real plan. No sharpness, no clinical finishing, and, frankly, no imagination. Watching the team struggle to string together a decent counter-attack was like watching paint dry. I think what hurts the most, as a fan, is seeing a team with so much potential and history play like this. Juventus is supposed to be a team that dominates, that plays with swagger and confidence. But instead, we looked unsure, disconnected. And it's frustrating because we know what this club is capable of. Now, let's talk about those 3 points. Yes, we got the win, but did we earn it? Not really. And that's a hard thing to admit as a Juventus fan. The goal we scored felt more like luck than skill. And while I'm grateful for the win, don't get me wrong, it doesn't feel satisfying. It feels hollow. Football isn't just about results. It's about the performance, the passion, the fight. And what we saw in this match didn't live up to the Juventus name. But, as always, there's hope. Because if there's one thing I've learned from following this club, it's that Juventus has resilience in its DNA. We've been through ups and downs before. Remember Calciopoli? And we always come back stronger. This match should be a wake-up call for the players, the coaching staff, and the management. We need to find our identity again, to play with purpose and pride. So, lovelies, what did you think of the match? Were you just as frustrated as I was, or do you think I'm being too harsh? Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear how you're feeling about this Juventus squad and what you think needs to change. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Lovely Podcast. Remember to follow, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed today's episode. Let's hope the next match gives us something to truly cheer about. Until next time, stay lovely, stay passionate, and Forza Juve.